How can someone go missing now for 18 years with no body, no trace, especially in a country like South Korea? But the person you thought was a suspect all along is found not guilty. Could our suspicions be wrong? And why our justice system has to be based on guilty without a doubt? The Louis Vuitton missing woman's case has been on the top of mystery cases in South Korea, and the family is looking for any other clues or help from the public. And there's a lot of interesting roller coaster legal battle things that we need to talk about in this case. And are there any clues from the victims coming to her family's dreams? What is she trying to tell them? As I'm filming this today, it is actually the Scorpio full moon. I am not the biggest astrology person, but I have been feeling so crazy for the last couple weeks. So I hope you guys are doing okay and staying sane. And I would not be able to continue this channel like I am doing today without your help, everyone who's watching, and of course, sponsors' help. Thank you so much to Care of, because they are my source of vitamins and supplements. Care of is a subscription service that ships high quality personalized vitamins, supplements, and powders to your door every month. And you guys, I've been using Care of for over a year now. Let me tell you the exciting vitamins that I get. All you gotta do is take a 60-second quiz to see what supplements and vitamins are right for you. I always get the ashwagandha, which helps with stress and focus, vitamin D for bone and immune health. There's actually quality difference to vitamins, so I personally do not go to like the drugstore anymore. Not to mention these films are made from plants, so they are compostable. And I always get the matcha collagen powder, you guys. As we get older, the collagen production does reduce. So drinking collagen every single day definitely helped me to get some beautiful skin. Love how these collagens are clean, high quality ingredients. So Care of makes it so fun and easy and exciting to take your vitamins and supplements. If you want to try it out and check it out, go to the link down in the description box and go to GRAZY50 to get 50% off your first order and see the amazing quality of these supplements and vitamins. Thank you so much to Care of for supporting mystery channels, and thank you guys for just checking and clicking the links. We are a community and I'm so grateful for every one of you guys. Jung Nari was a 21-year-old back then living alone, and she was born in 1983. She was a very pretty girl, about 170 centimeters, which is considered pretty tall in Korea, 50 kilograms, and worked at a cafe with her friends. She was described by her friends as confident, funny, she made jokes. She was an extrovert, she was nice, and worked really hard for what she earned. It was January 22nd of 2005. She decided to drink with her two other friends from work, and it seemed like a pretty moderate amount of drinking, although Nari herself, according to her friends, did drink more than usual, and she was pretty drunk. Throughout the entire night as they were drinking, she kept on repeating, "I don't want to go home, I don't want to go home." And obviously it was now 3-4 a.m. and her friends were like, "You have to go home, let's go." And she just kept saying, "I don't want to go home." And now it's the 24th, 4 a.m. the next morning as they were drinking. She would be dropped off by her friends in front of her apartment. And according to the apartment witnesses, they heard a girl making loud noises and her two girlfriends trying to comfort her. The witnesses and her friends say they were comforting her for a while, about like 30 minutes, and again repeated, "I don't want to go home," and kind of being hysterical. And witnesses noticed this because it was so loud at 4:30 a.m. and it was winter. Not to mention because in South Korea, these apartments or villas are so close to each other, you could literally hear everything that's going on. We don't know exactly what she was upset about, but when your friend is drunk, you just kind of think that she's acting this way because she's drunk. So the friends that was with Nari took her to her room 201, and the friend realized that there was a man sleeping without his top, and this was actually Nari's new boyfriend that she decided to live with, and it's only been 2 weeks since she's been living with this new boyfriend. So obviously the friend feeling a little embarrassed and awkward, she doesn't want to wake the boyfriend up, she doesn't know him, he's sleeping without a top, so she decided to quickly come out of the apartment after she saw Nari, fine and inside of her apartment. Now this apartment is kind of like a cheap villa, I guess. So a lot of these places, if you've been to South Korea, they have zero noise canceling. Some of them that you go to, you literally hear people flush their toilets, literally talking, you can hear through the walls. And the neighbors who were annoyed that they were awakened by the noise heard the two girls like coming up the stairs, opening the door, so they heard everything. 10 minutes since it got kind of quiet as the friends seemed to be leaving, he tried to go back to sleep, and he says that this was when he started to hear loud fighting. He heard a man scream, "Hey you, B," cursing, and sounded like someone was slapping someone, and he says that the walls were like... It wasn't just this neighbor, it was neighbors from upstairs, downstairs, next door who heard all of this, and they said that this fighting went on for like almost 2 hours. And it was so loud that they couldn't sleep, and they were contemplating of calling 911 or Korean 112. But it's so unfortunate that nobody actually ended up calling for help. And they all seem to say, you know, I don't want to get involved with the police, you know, they're gonna ask me questions, like what if the man blames me? Like, I'm sure someone else will call police. And everybody was just kind of in that mindset of, I'm sure somebody else will. And I totally understand that. There were a couple of times when like heard weird stuff outside, and I'm contemplating, should I be calling police about this or not? And I think especially back in 2005, people didn't really think to call for help on a whim. So the next day, the same friend, they were all working together, and Nari didn't show up for work at their cafe. So being concerned, the friend called Nari and her phone was off. So she decided to go and check on her just in case to see if she's okay, if she's awake, if she's still drunk. When she went back to Nadi's apartment, a neighbor next door came out saying, "Hey, I heard this like crazy fighting last night. Are they okay?" So this new boyfriend was a man named Kim, and they've only been meeting for like less than 2 months and decided to move in together. And Nadi's friends and family remember this new boyfriend being very possessive, always calling her, seeing what she's doing. And some report that she even had some bruises on her face like she was hit. Now, I don't think she ever reported this to her family saying that he hit me, but they did notice these odd signs. So friends and family reported Nadi missing because she was not at the apartment. And the family just had this gut feeling that she did not just run away, because Nadi always called her parents and her family. Like, they talked a lot, and it was unusual for her phone to be off and to be missing. In the missing report paper, it says that she wore a black coat, black skirt, black stockings, black heels, and had a Louis Vuitton bag with her that was missing. So the police went to her apartment the day she was reported missing to do a checkup. And here's a photo of a recreation of her apartment. You see that it's pretty small. There's like a small living room area and just one bedroom. A small tiny room that she apparently shared with this new boyfriend. And police actually first noticed that they were shocked that this apartment was cleaned. Like, the apartment was neat for someone who came home drunk, and the bathroom seemed like it was cleaned as well. Even her boyfriend Kim claims that he came home drunk as well. And you have two people coming home drunk. Like, who is cleaning the house right next day? The cigarette ashtray was also cleaned. The drain, like the toilet, the sink, looked like it was cleaned. The one officer also remembers that he went through the drawers and saw a bed cover sheet neatly folded, and he could tell that it was a bit damp and that it has been recently washed. It was 2005, so obviously the way phones work were a little different. It was, I think, one of those flip phones. They checked her phone records, health insurance, her bank, any signs that she would be alive and somewhere, and zero signs of her using any of her cards, phone, nothing. It also seems like there was nothing taken from her room as well. Police say that they literally searched every body around her and found no one to be suspicious except one person, her new boyfriend, Kim. So according to Kim, he claims that he came home around 2:40 a.m. after drinking with his friends, and he just went straight to sleep. He woke up the next morning at 11 a.m. He noticed in the bathroom that someone vomited. It wasn't his, so he thought that his girlfriend vomited, and it was disgusting, so that's why he says he cleaned the bathroom. He then said that he decided to break up with Nadi that day because he felt like she was cheating on her and didn't pick up her phone and things like that. And he was like, you know what, enough, don't want to be with her. So he cleaned the apartment, he packed his bags and left. An interesting thing that a lot of people think is, well, if you decided to break up with someone and you're mad at them, do you leave the apartment clean? Like, you clean it and leave? I don't know. If I was mad at my boyfriend, I would just pack my stuff and leave. Like, no cleaning, nothing. Also doing the laundry for her. Like, that's pretty considerate. Now, Kim had no previous convictions. So police, having immense suspicion on this guy, brought him in thinking that he was going to confess. Remember, he claims that he slept through 11 a.m. didn't even see his girlfriend come in. But remember, there was a loud fight and police asked, didn't you wake up? There was a loud fight that was was reported by all the neighbors, and he says that he was drunk, probably just slept through it, and he doesn't remember anything. After packing his bags, cleaning the apartment, he left at 4 p.m. according to him, and he decided to go to a drive with his friends at 6 p.m. So friends of Kim that drank with him that day, early morning, claims that yes, they were drinking, and noticed that Kim was kind of distraught. He was calling his girlfriend Nari. She wasn't picking up, and he got visibly mad and left the drinking gathering at around 2:30. And during that 6 p.m. drive with his friends, those friends claimed that it was literally just a casual hangout. They didn't really notice anything suspicious, and the police tried to get something out of them, maybe thinking that these friends were responsible of helping Kim dispose a body. And the friends say that they were baffled because this is not what happened, and the police were phrasing the question like, did you help him dispose a body there? And this is something that sometimes police do. They phrase the question like targeting you as a suspect when you had nothing to do with it. And we'll get to why this is very important. Now, that same friend that went on the drive with Kim the night claims that he remembers at 6 or 7 a.m. in the morning, that same day when they went drinking, he remembers getting a call from Kim 3 to 4 times saying, let's go on a drive, let's go on a drive. I mean, the friend was obviously like, WTF, it's 6 a.m. in the morning, why are we going on a drive? And he claims that Kim called him from 2 different phone numbers. But remember, Kim claims that he slept till 11 a.m. So why are his friends claiming this bizarre behavior? The unfortunate thing is, in South Korea, I'm not sure if it's still like this today, but according to the telephone company, only outgoing calls are recorded, and incoming calls and numbers are not recorded in these reports. And this is because of communication bills that only calculate the outgoing calls as a fee at the time. I'm pretty sure it's registered these days, but maybe back then that's just not how it worked. So unfortunately, the friend's confession cannot be 100% confirmed, but why would he make this up, right? So the police thought that the next thing to do was do a lie detector test on Kim, and Kim agreed to this. The test was scheduled on April 13th, but he would never show up. Police tracked where Kim was, and he actually flew out of South Korea to China, and he would be staying there for the next 5 years. And it was in 2010 when he returned to Korea because of an expired passport, and he showed up to the police interrogation with a lawyer, very prepared this time according to the police. So let's take a look at the evidence of what they had, because the police were sure that this was a homicide. So they did do a forensic testing in the apartment and found something interesting. Number one, Nadi's DNA was found in the bathroom sink drain, which is not that crazy because she lived there, and I mean, obviously she probably took a shower there and everything. Number two, a 1 millimeter blood stain, so like, I don't know, is that like a droplet, was found on the sleeping room window and on the bed sheet. They also found a mixed blood drop of Kim and Nari in Kim's shoes. This was literally the smallest droplet like ever. You see the photos, it was that size. So taking this information, the prosecutors tried to argue that the small blood drop found in the room was due to the assault, and the shoe was due to him disposing the body. And somewhere along the line disposing the body, his blood and her blood got mixed. And I guess he cleaned the shoe, but not well enough to leave this tiny drop of blood. They also found it suspicious that he was calling his friend 6 a.m. in the morning with 2 different numbers. And the fact that he fled the investigation did not look good for him. And taking into consideration the neighbor's statements, police finally were able to charge Kim. And unfortunately, they didn't have a body, so there wasn't much evidence that they could present. But with what they had, the court did sentence Kim to 7 years for an assault injury death. Again, if they had a body and everything, I'm sure this would have been a different case. But he appealed, maintaining his innocence, that he woke up at 11 a.m., had nothing to do with it. And in the appeal trial, they found him not guilty in 2013. How did this case flip? Was he really not the suspect? So in the appeal trial, the main thing was that the judges found that the amount of blood that they found as evidence were so minuscule and small to say that this was a murder. And I thought about this as well. I mean, what are the chances of having your blood on the walls and on the bed? I mean, Was it like a nosebleed? What are the chances of having your blood and your girlfriend's blood under your shoe? That's not as common, but I do agree that it's such a small amount that it was hard to completely, undoubtedly say it was a murder. The judges also said that, well, the noises did come from somewhere, but are they 100% sure that it came from room 201? What if the noise came from another room? It is obviously most likely that it was Nari and her boyfriend because she was crying outside 10 minutes before this. What are the likely chances that this happened to another apartment, right? But again, nobody went in front of the door, nobody opened the door to see if it really was them. So the judges said this is not enough evidence. And most of all, we never found Nari's body and we didn't have a confession. So there was a possibility that she left the apartment on her own and something happened after that. They also did take the possibility, what if Kim dragged her out of the apartment? But this apartment villa they were in was very close to other places. The street had cars parked everywhere. And experts do think that it could have been difficult to drag a body, 170 centimeters, 50 kilogram woman's body out of it without anyone noticing. And they did do a forensic testing on Kim's car and found no evidence of Lee's presence left behind. At one point, family met up with Kim at the police station and pleaded with him to tell the truth, that they'll forgive him. Just let us know where our daughter is and what happened that day. And police remember seeing that Kim was just silent and, never broke or said anything. So after he was found not guilty officially by the court in 2013, he actually also sued the court in 2014, saying that he was in prison while he was innocent all this time and it wasn't fair for him. But this case was dismissed. So, if it really was someone that was innocent, yeah, I do think it is unfair for someone to sit in jail while you're innocent. But if he did get away with it, you must have a lot of balls to sue the court because that could be very risky. With the possible suspect being found not guilty, they had no other leads by now. It's been 9 years and the case went cold. And later on in 2019, a documentary crew decided to do a story on Nari and found Kim years later. And when asked about Nari's case, he said, "I had such a hard life as an innocent person because of her. She caused a lot of trouble to me." And when asked why he fled the country, he said, "That's all solved through the court. The case is not related to me. Bye," and hung up. They also got a chance to meet him physically for a couple of minutes. "If you ever find her, let me know. I want to curse at her because she's just a girl I met for 2 months and my life was hell because of her," referring to all the legal battles he had to go through. He says that he's married with 2 kids now and doesn't want to think about the case anymore. And to him, because he had nothing to do with it, being an innocent man and being attacked left to right, having people blame at him was unfair. So I guess if you step into the shoe of an innocent man going to jail for this, I guess you could be angry, instead of having empathy. So the mother of Nari still has the bed sheet, the cover sheet that was damp and was recently washed. And they decided to do a forensic test to see if they can find anything years later. And 14 years later, doing a luminal test, they didn't find any bloodstains. And experts say that, if something did happen in the apartment, maybe you're not looking for blood. You could end someone's life without having blood. And again, there is absolutely a possibility of her, maybe she really did have a fight with her boyfriend, leaving the apartment on her own because she got frustrated. A random stranger seeing a young girl crying at like 6-7 a.m. maybe really did take her. But I'm thinking, what are the odds, right? What are the odds that she had such a bad luck that day, that she comes home, her boyfriend and her are fighting, abusing her. She leaves the apartment and she never shows up ever again. Like, what are the odds of all these things lining up? And him cleaning the apartment, him saying that he didn't wake up at the time, friends claiming that he wanted to go for a drive at 6-7 a.m. It is possible that after his girlfriend left, he was so heated from the argument that he called his friend, and he didn't want to tell all of this to the police because they knew that they were going to use this against him, even if he wasn't related to her going actually missing and killing her. What was the reason that Nari was so upset that day and she didn't want to go home? Was it because she knew that her boyfriend was going to do something to her? What was it? And police found the outgoing call logs of Nari. Her brother remembers talking to her before she went drinking, and he says that he found nothing odd in her voice. And here is where we enter the Louis Vuitton purse, Could this really be related, or is it all a coincidence? So in 2019, a documentary crew got a tip from a woman who was living near the area that Nari went missing, and at the similar time that she found a Louis Vuitton bag and she still had it. So this woman was living around 600 meters away from Nari's apartment, which is about 11 minutes of walk to get there. And it was true that when Nari went missing, she went missing with her Louis Vuitton bag. The lady claims that she was playing games all night at the PC room and came home around 6 a.m.-ish and found a fancy Louis Vuitton bag right smack in the middle of her main building door. It's a Louis Vuitton bag, like what is it doing right here? And at 6 a.m. so nobody was around, and she claims that she waited to see if like the owner's gonna come back or not, and when they didn't, she just took the bag and went to her apartment. She claims that there was only makeup inside, no ID, no receipts, nothing, which was also odd because if this was a used bag, usually you would have your wallet, your phone, any receipts from the stuff that you bought, but nothing inside except some makeup. In her head, she thought that this bag was probably fake. It's not valuable, so probably someone disposed it and kept it all these years. The luxury experts say that actually this Louis Vuitton bag is real, and it was a limited edition that was released in 2003, and it used to be around $1,000 for a used one back in 2005. But unfortunately, nobody can remember what specific type of bag that Nari had. Could this be the Louis Vuitton bag that she had or not? Nobody could really remember. And the family says that they'd never seen this bag in person. They just know that she had one luxury bag. So it's a question, could this bag belong to Nari? But what are the odds that you would find a real Louis Vuitton bag the same year, the same winter? And the woman says she can't remember the exact date, but it was definitely winter and 2005. Experts say that if this bag belongs to her, on the process of taking her or disposing her body, they probably just disposed the bag. Why? I mean, this bag is so like, it's colorful, like it comes into people's eye. Why would the suspect or someone leave the bag there? Where are the IDs inside this bag? Like, where were the other stuff? The woman did return the bag to the police. They do have it, but I mean, it's been years, so I don't think DNA testing, I don't know if DNA test is pointless because this lady has been probably using this bag for years now. And until this day, the family are still handing out flyers of missing person to see if anyone knows anything or remembers anything from that day. So the family members, including the mother, the sister, and brother, all say that they actually had Nari come to their dreams a couple times. And you guys know how I feel about dreaming, premonition dreams, and meeting people through your dreams, because I personally think it is a portal to the other side as well. Her brother says that he wanted to ask his sister in his dream about what happened to her. And once when she came into his dream, he asked, "Where are you, sis?" And Nari replied in the dream, "I gotta go." Her sister says that when she had a dream about Nari, it was a scary dream where Nari was getting hurt. I mean, what do you guys think about it? The family obviously already has in their mind that probably something bad did happen to her. So was this just an effect of how they were thinking? Or did they really meet her and she's giving some type of clue? So what do you guys think really happened? I think the unfortunate thing is the police never looked into the possibility that a stranger did take her, and they were so focused on the boyfriend that maybe she really did walk out on her own and something bad did happen. And we have to consider, guilty until proven. Was him running away to China really a guilty conscious thing? According to Kim, he says that he left because he was so stressed that the police was constantly calling him and he just decided to flee the country. And I do agree with the court with all the evidence that it's not 100% definite proof, although it's very suspicious, although what are the likelihoods? And the last question is, why haven't we found Nari's body yet? Nothing in the waters, nothing people found on the grounds. I mean, it is truly a mystery, and we're hoping that these documentaries and talking about this case even to my global audience, that it will reach somebody and we will find the truth, at least of what happened to her and where she is today. So if there's anything we should discuss about that we forgot about, something that might be important that we're not looking into, leave a comment down below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you guys in my next video.